Number two, how do these adaptations assist in heat regulation? Well, first, number one, our plasma volume, by increasing our water, by our body weight increases about 5 to 7% of water. Therefore, because of water's thermoregulated effects, you just become harder to heat in general as a body mass due to water resisting change of temperature to a very great extent. Number two, by having this larger pool of water for your body to draw from, you're able to sweat more at a higher rate if need be, depending on the circumstances. That feeds directly into number two, which is we're going to start sweating sooner. So we're going to need a lessened raise of our core temperature. So instead of being at this extremely high level that may be even dangerous for some people, we need to raise 1, maybe 2 degrees Celsius before we start seeing a sweating occur. This helps not only regulate our heightened core temperature, so we're able to work at this heightened load for longer in the heat before we reach unsafe or even critical levels of core temperature, but also it allows us to use less sweat over the course of this time because your evaporative effect is so strong that instead of having to cool us down, like bring us back down in core temperature, you're just fighting to regulate it and hold it where it is, which is a much easier combat than bringing it down after already reaching a elevated core temperature. We're going to skip over to number 5 real quick, which is our dilution of sweat, because we're diluting our sweat to help with this maintenance of water and holding it back in our blood. So with less electrolytes being in our sweat, it's actually being held in our blood. This holds water in our plasma volume. Therefore, we're just sweating less in general because these heightened amount of salts and electrolytes in our blood is now holding that gradient back and is maintaining this, allowing us to use our water more efficiently in our body. Back down to number 3, this decrease in glycogenolysis. This is just allowing us to start our exercise at a lower core temperature, making it so that we can start working at this lower rate and maintain a longer rate due to just having a lower core temperature to start with. Our increased hemoglobin is really important due to one of the factors that allows us to thermoregulate is the shunting of blood towards the skin. And because we're shunting blood away from the muscles and organs, we now have less available oxygen because of that. And so by increasing hemoglobin, we're now kind of reintroducing this oxygen in a different way and able to maintain a workload in the heat that we might otherwise not be able to due to the lack of oxygen. Now, back to 6. So our heart is very oxygen demanding. And so by working at a faster rate with our heart rate, our heart rate's going to spike a lot faster without acclimation to heat. So by increasing our stroke volume, this allows our Q factor to stay the same, so our amount of blood being pushed, while decreasing our heart rate, which means we're using less oxygen in the heart to push it everywhere else in our body, meaning that we're able to now work at similar loads in the heat than we would out of the heat, and therefore after acclimation, we're able to work even higher when we're not being exposed to heat.